Hi there, Leanne the lawyer here. How are you today? Well, you know what we're going to talk about today? We are going to talk about notice. Do you want to be noticed? I want to be noticed. I think we all know that I just don't have any trouble being noticed. It's a curse, really. But let's talk about notice, because if we don't talk about notice, we're not really going to understand recording statutes. Okay, I know. What do they have to do with each other? Well, I'm going to tell you what they have to do with each other. That's the purpose of this video. They just love spending time with me. I love spending time with you. We're not talking about noticing me or noticing you, and I do notice you. I see you over there. What we're talking about today is property notice, okay? Look. Everybody wants property, right? Everybody wants a piece of property. People get all up in arms around it. That's why we have all these laws and rules and regulations. And if somebody has a claim to a piece of property, other people should take notice. They should notice that this person has a claim to a piece of property. And when other people don't realize that someone has a claim, then it causes all kinds of legal issues and problems. So that's where these recording statutes sort of came about. It said, property is a really big issue, and we don't want people shooting each other and going all crazy and mass chaos and mayhem. So they said, you have to be able to understand, have people been put on notice that you have a claim? So there's a couple of different types of notice. Actually, there's three that we're going to talk about today. First one is actual notice. So this is me saying to you, here's a piece of paper. On it is written documentation and confirmation that says I have a claim. Okay, that is called actual notice, right? That makes sense. All right. Then there's something called inquiry notice. Okay, this isn't where I haven't handed you a piece of paper, but circumstances are such that you should inquire about whether or not I have a claim on this piece of property. Like, for example, if you see me living somewhere, you might wonder whether or not I have a claim. That would put a reasonable person on notice that maybe they should be inquiring into this further if they're also interested in that piece of property. Don't they wonder, hey, why is she living there, right? That's inquiry notice. That's where somebody notice is attributed to you if a reasonable person in your same circumstances would have looked at the situation and kind of investigated further. Okay, so that's inquiry notice. The third type of notice is called record notice. Okay, this is where I take this piece of paper that shows that I have a claim, and I take it down to the courthouse and actually file it. I record it. I properly take all of the legal steps, and it is down there. Now, I don't make an announcement. I'm not wearing anything on my head that says, woo, I got a claim. I put it down there. Because of that, everybody in the world, we presume that you have notice that another person has a claim if it has been properly recorded and filed down at the courthouse. Does that make sense? It should. Okay? Pretty simple. You should check down at the courthouse to see who has claims to the property and who doesn't. Okay, so now that we understand the different types of notice, now it's going to make it easier to understand the three different types of recording statutes that we have in various jurisdictions. Okay, so the first one is going to be what's called your notice statute. Okay, well, that makes sense. We just talked about notice. So the notice statute, I'm going to read the definition to you. So it's a recording act providing that the person with the most recent valid claim and who purchased without notice of an earlier unrecorded claim has priority. So imagine you're this person. You have a valid claim. You are the most recent person to have a valid claim on this property. And you made that claim. You purchased without knowledge of any other claims floating around out there. Okay? That, had they been recorded, then you would have been on record notice, right? So this is somebody who didn't have notice. They went in, they made a valid claim. Turns out later, in some sort of a lawsuit, that somebody else had a prior claim. But this statute is going to say, look, you with your prior claim, you didn't do anything to allow anybody to have notice that you had a claim. So this person with the valid claim, the most recent one, they're getting it. because you didn't do your due diligence. Does that make sense? Okay, the next type is going to be your race statute. I always imagine people like running down to the courthouse because literally what this means, it doesn't matter about notice at all. It doesn't matter if anybody had notice. It's the first person to get to the courthouse and they record. If they record first, they have priority. They have the priority claim on that piece of property. So in those jurisdictions, it doesn't matter. Hey, look, I know Jim Bob over here has a claim on the property, but if I get to the courthouse first, I win. Okay, makes sense? And then the third type is the combination of those two. It's called a race notice statute. So we're racing and we're noticing, and that says recording act providing that the person who is first to record in the chain of title without notice of a prior unrecorded deed or mortgage has priority. So if you record, you're the first one to record in the chain of title, and you don't have notice of a prior unrecorded deed, you get it. Okay? Does that make sense? Because there might have been somebody that recorded, but that did have notice of a prior claim, and they recorded before you, but see, they had notice. So they don't get the priority. You do because you recorded without notice of prior claims. Does that make sense? That's the race notice statute. All right, well, I hope you have a wonderful day. Make sure that you keep getting noticed, and I will make sure I keep getting noticed, and we'll all just get along. See you next time with Leanne the lawyer.